Sharp Park Beach. Sharp Park over there. Mori's Point in the distance down there. And then Pacifica Pier in the distance. First day of crab season 2017. It is November 4th, 2017. Crab season is on, I guess earlier this year than in years past. But we're not going for crab today. We're going for fish. So we're going a little more remote. I would like. Here we are on the south end of Sharp Park Beach. There's Mori's Point right there. It suffered quite a bit of erosion last year due to the heavy rains brought about by El Nino. I guess we'll see this year if we're getting heavy rains or not. I know a lot of people in Northern California where the fires were would like to see that rain, and so would I. Anyhow, it rained a little bit last night. So there's some fishermen that say that it's always better surf fishing after the rain. Finding a remote location to fish sometimes requires a little bit of effort. As you can see, there are quite a few stairs here going upward to get to the point that we're going to. So those people that say fishing doesn't require any physical exertion have not gone fishing in this spot. So here we are at the top of the stairs. I am not breathing hard right now because I didn't film for a couple of minutes while I caught my breath. But that's the walk we just came up. And that right down there on the beach is the remote spot where we are going fishing. It looks like there's a couple of fellows down there. Not too many people go down there because if you look to the left, there are cliffs you need to climb down to get to that beach. And still a closer view of the beach that we are headed to. For those Harold and Maude movie fans, does that look oddly like the cliff that Harold drove the Jaguar off of at the end of the movie? Well, yes it is, but that was 40 years ago, so erosion has changed it a little bit. We have come to the spot where we are going to climb down the cliff. And you may be asking yourself, seriously? I'm very serious. Okay, we've just completed the steepest part of this trail coming down, and it's the part right at the start. There was that nice unmaintained trail right there coming to an end, and this mess coming in down to the cliff we're headed to. But if you're gonna do this, I wouldn't advise you to do it. It's very dangerous. I got some gloves on here. I have some really nice hiking boots with a soft rubber sole, and I still slip sometimes. It's very dangerous. Another 50 feet down the trail. This is the final little leg of this journey to the beach. We got to travel through this gully here, and you should be awfully careful about how you're carrying your pole so you don't bang it against the side and break your pole. I'll flip this thing around here so that you can see how I'm carrying my stuff. And that tire right down there, you can see the ropes going around it. I tied off a couple of ropes there. Every couple of months I put a new rope on there because salt water and saltwater air has a way of destroying things. So rather be safe than sorry. Well, if you want to catch surf fish, you want to catch them up close in what I call the first trench in, which is usually about 15 to 25 feet in back of where the waves are hitting the shore there. And the reason being is that every time those waves come in and hit that sand, they are stirring up those sand crabs, those sand worms, or whatever, and making it available to the little fishies right down there in that little trench right there. So this is the last leg of our journey here that I was telling you about. Here's the ropes. Actually, there are about 4 left. Of course, I wouldn't consider that big one's condition to be 1, so maybe 3 ropes. And there is the tire that they are tied off to, buried by mud. It's in there pretty good, I hope. So there's where we left the ropes behind, at the bottom of the cliff. And here's the beach. And it's looking really good today. Got a little bit of a swell to stir the sand crabs up and attract the fish in. But it's nice and smooth and clear enough for the fish to come in and still be able to see the bait or whatever it is they're trying to catch. And there's the cliff once again, at which at the bottom the jaguar of just got stuck on somebody's fishing line there. But at the bottom of that hill there is where the jaguar from Harold and Maude was laid to rest, so to speak. And as a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I saw the rear end differential on that jaguar one time when the sand was really low. That's the thing, on a sandy beach, sometimes this sand right here that we're looking at could be 10 feet lower, just based on wave action and which way the sand goes. So, but there's the infamous cliff, Jaguar Cliff. Okay, so I think we're gonna pick a fishing spot right here. What I always look for is the biggest trench. And if you look right as the water recedes, it gets steeper and steeper as it runs into the oncoming waves. Now when you watch this next wave, look where the peak is. I'm gonna be right in the middle of that peak, but back about 25 feet, 30 feet in the water, where the fish are scooping up sand crabs, worms, and everything else that tastes good. And this rock right here is where I'm gonna set up my camp, or whatever you want to call it, my fishing camp. And I'm gonna be casting my line from the top of this rock right here, because the height will give me a little more throwing distance and keep me out of the water for sure. Okay, before you throw it in the water, you want to put some bait on the line. I'm not using live bait today. I'm not using real bait. Using some of this stuff here. Got these little guys here. They're made out of rubber and a combination of other things, and looks like stuff the fish would like to bite into. That's the whole concept of it. These ones are supposed to be little rock crabs that they like to eat. These ones here are kind of big worms. I'd probably use these if I was closer to the rocks and trying for rockfish, not for perch. These ones here look like some little critters that are supposed to be crawling across the bottom of the ocean. They look like miniature lobsters. In this bag I got a combination of something that doesn't really look like anything, but they still go after it. And the ones right here are supposed to be rubber sand crabs. They're white on the top, and then on the bottom they've got this fleshy color, and they look like something that the fish want to bite into. Oh, and my favorite is these worms here. They look like the worms that you buy at the bait store. And when you put them on the hook, they move like it. Matter of fact, this is what we're going to put on the hook first, so you can see what it looks like. It looks like a real worm, the type that live in the ocean. Okay, so I've threaded these ocean-looking worms, these rubber worms, onto my hooks. As you can see, they look like the real thing there. And I also find it best that once I throw my rig into the water, if I give it a little shake and a pull, not too much, you don't want to overdo anything. Like that, it looks like the worm is moving around. And motion attracts fish. If you just leave it sitting there, eventually they might see it and go, oh, it looks like a worm, I'll bite it. Also, with the waves moving in the ocean, the waves will move it and give it a little bit of movement, but it always helps to give it its own movement, so that it looks like it's alive. So let's throw this puppy into the first trench, and you'll see where that is right now. I'm going to try to give you a little better angle of the ocean and where I'm throwing this, so I turn the camera a little bit over to the side. Here we go, first trench, 25 yards out. Here we go. Okay, we're getting some bites here. Okay, didn't even bite off the worm. And that's the one advantage to the rubber worms, is that they stay on the hook better than the real ones. The real ones are easy to bite and run away with. Here's another setup. If you want to catch surf perch, it works pretty good. This one is using a sabiki rig setup, where a sabiki rig is where you got 4 or 5, sometimes 6 hooks. This one has 4 on it. These are about a size 4 hook, and you got little grubs that I put on there. Little rubber grubs work pretty good to track them. And if you put this in the water and you kind of shake it a little bit like that, it attracts the attention of fish. Maybe you'll catch some perch. Well, I was going to continue this episode by showing you how to fillet your fish. but unfortunately didn't catch any fish today. And so with that, even though the conditions were right, as you can see, it's a beautiful day out here. It's a full moon. I came just past the high tide. A number of factors, but if the fish aren't there, you're not going to catch them no matter what you try, no matter how crafty you are. So anyway, so sometime soon when I do catch some fish, I will shoot an episode on how to fillet them and prepare them for pan frying. But meanwhile, I think I will end this episode by just kind of showing you around down here on the beach and why it is so nice to come down here even if you don't catch any fish, because it's very beautiful. And that's what I will end this clip with. Okay, so here's the spot where I was fishing. The reason I like this little beach so much is that there's a lot of little spots where you can just sit down and like right there, it's like a nature-made bench right there. You put your bucket up there or wherever. A lot of little spots where you can sit down on a rock and do your fishing. You don't have to stand the whole time. It's unnecessary. And then over here, with the heavy El Nino rains that we had. Wow, look at this. Once again, made by nature. Well, mostly. Humans can't help but keep from having some influence on everything that goes on the planet, but pretty much this is just carved out by Mother Nature. It's beautiful. It'd be a nice place to hold a little meeting right there. Better than any office in America. That little spot right there. Some guys actually climb up out of the beach this way. They come down over here where you got some mussels on the rocks, and they climb up on this thing, and they go way up like that, and they tell me that that's the way to do it. But as you can see, it's quite a drop right there, and right at the bottom there's some hard rocks, so it doesn't seem too safe to me. I think I'll stick with my little path. The less of a drop there is, the less chance you have of falling and breaking something.